Is it a good time to buy a home in Houston right now, or is it a good time to sell a home? I'm going over all the stats right now. Hi friend, my name is Paul Holub, broker here at Traditions Realty. This video is all about what's going on in Houston real estate here for April 2026. So let's get right into the numbers. Let's start out with new listings. And you can see here for the last 2 years, we have just a tremendous increase in new homes hitting the market. I've talked about it extensively here on this channel. So probably no surprise to you, but as you can see, we just had a ton of homes hit the market in 2025. Let's see what's going on here in 2026. And we're actually following a pretty close path here in 2026. I do have some good news here for buyers and sellers coming up here in a little bit. But as far as new homes hitting the market, we're about 1% off from we were here in March last year. So about the same, obviously trending up a little bit higher in January and February. All right, let's talk about the number of active listings on the market. And this is single family homes that are currently on the market for sale. As you can see, since 2023, we just have increasing amount of homes on the market for sale. Probably nothing of surprise to you because you definitely see it as you drive around, see it in your neighborhood, see it in many different parts of Houston. But take a look here in 2026. We're actually 9% up from where we were last year. And so may continue to trend with higher amounts of home inventory here in 2026. We'll see. We'll see if that's as crazy, because I do have one stat coming up here that I think may change that trajectory a little bit. And that's this right here, pending homes by month. As you can see, we had a huge increase in pending homes. Those are homes that were on the market, accepted an offer, or on their way to closing here in the middle of last year. And so look at this chart here for 2026, and we're definitely well ahead from where we were last year. And so it's a good sign for you home sellers that, you know, buyers are coming back into the market, starting to buy up some of these homes that have been on the market for a while, and some new ones hitting the market as well. And so if you are planning on buying a home right now, you may see a little bit more competition. If you are on the market or planning to list your house on the market, still keep in mind that, you know, it's not going to take as, you know, fast as it was during COVID. Things tend to take a little bit longer to sell. And so having that mindset is always good to do, and pricing it right. So pending homes is a good sign that the market is definitely starting to pick back up from last year. But let's look at sold homes, see if that's transferred over to our sales yet. And as you can see, pretty much the same here, 24, 25. You know, we started to differentiate in May, but it was well ahead for the most part the rest of the year. And here we are at the beginning of March, and we're up 3% in the amount of homes sold. So not a ton, a little bit back and forth, but let's see how the next couple months go. If we can surpass home sales in April and May for the last 2 years, that'd be a good sign that buyers are coming back to the market. A lot of that's gonna have to do with home prices as well as interest rates, which I'm gonna get to in a second. Next is the average sales price. And for the last 2 years, we kind of gone back and forth. We hit an all-time high in July of last year at 450. But otherwise, we've been really tending to be around the 420 mark. And so let's see how we're doing at the beginning of this year. And January, February was definitely a stronger month for home sales and prices. But then we kind of dropped back down here in March. And so the average sales price is down 1.2% from this time last year. So we'll see where that goes. Obviously, if interest rates, you know, stay higher, that's definitely gonna put some downward pressure on pricing. But interest rates were crazy last year, and we had all-time high average sales price. So again, a little crazy, and no one for sure knows what's gonna happen. I'm just sharing with you the trends and where the market is right now, and see where it has been for the past couple of years. Give us a better idea of where it potentially could go. Let's look at the stats year over year. Single family home sales are up 3.7%. Average sales price is down 1.2%. Total active listings is up almost 9%. And so that's single family homes, condos, townhomes, everything. And then months of inventory, this is where we kind of know if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. So last year at 4.5 months of inventory, which is a slight seller's market. but it's closer to an average market. Average markets were usually around 5 to 6 months of home inventory. And this time here in March this year, we're about 4.7. So we're really getting closer to an average market, not really a buyer's market, not really a seller's market, just kind of right in between. But technically we still are in a seller's market, although sometimes it doesn't quite feel like that when your home's on the market for an extended time. Pending home sales are up almost 13%, so that is a good sign for you home sellers out there. Now let's talk about interest rates, because we've seen a lot of volatility here in the first quarter. Check out this graph here from Freddie Mac. We had a big spike here at the beginning of April with all the turmoil going on, all the way up to about 6.5%. Thankfully, since then, we've come back down. So this is average mortgage rates across the US. And now we're seeing around the average of 6.3%. And so that's definitely a little bit more manageable. At least it's not 7. But again, from my previous videos, expect to be between maybe 5.5 and 6.5 here for the next year or two is kind of what economists are projecting. So keep in mind that our interest rates will probably stay between 5.5 and 6.5%. For the next couple years. That's what economists are projecting. So kind of keep that in mind that, unless something crazy happens, we probably won't see 3% for a long, long time. But who knows? So if you'd like some help buying a great house or referrals for some great lenders, please reach out. I'm happy to help you. And be sure to subscribe so you can see me in the next one.